Policy, right?
Hi. How you doing? My name is Stanley Jackson.
Stanley.
Houston, Texas. I'm in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a sophomore.
Oh, you from New Orleans? Huh?
Yeah.
I did Treme down there, man.
You did some what?
I've been recruited on Treme.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I wanted to know what is exactly your process, because I know you spoke about you making it your own and committing instantly when you get a script. So when you first get a script, like what is your process? Right when it's what do you do?
But you know, first thing I try to do is, you can't help but try to find a character as soon as you can. But I just try to memorize it, and then go back in and I'll do my homework. I'll do it at home. I'll find and discover those things at home, a lot of things at home. And then I'm excited about taking it to the stage, to that rehearsal, so that, my son is just the opposite. He doesn't like to bring everything to the rehearsal, and he wants to do it during the performance, but I think he's doing his fellow actors a disservice, because I think, we need to play off each other. The most important thing an actor can do is listen. Yes. That's the most important thing an actor can do, is listen and then talk to his fellow actors. A lot of actors, so I am listening. No, did you hear though? I mean, you can know, what the script says, where it's going, but you have to treat each moment as, if it's just the first moment, you have to be working all the time you're on the stage. From the moment you get on, you have to be working, and you have to be in the moment. And for me, believability is the bottom line. I don't want to see acting when you're on the stage. I want to see real people, and that's what I work for. I work to make it mine, to make it my voice. I look, a lot of people study various, I like to find out, I like to think, how would I react in that situation? If I was this person in that situation, how would John Beasley react, to the same situation, same given situation? So I might be wrong, but that's how I approach it.
Thank you. Okay, 2 more questions. Did you get a chance to see Stick Fly at all?
I didn't, but Kenny, I think Kenny directed that.
Right.
Yeah, he was, in fact, he was left Boston to do that. I wanted to get down and see it, but I didn't get a chance to see it. Some of my friends were in there.
And talk to me a little more about the music. Do you have a background in singing or instruments, or?
When I was a teenager, back in my hometown, I used to be in a lot of singing groups. And I always thought I was going to be in a singing group like the Temptations, just moving, and singing in the background. I didn't think I could lead. I was the front man, but I always loved it. I thought that was going to be the deal. So when I did get to college and they offered me this thing, I'm like, what am I going to do with theater? And but music was my first love, and I did take some voice when I was in college, and I don't, other than that, I sing in the church choir and that sort of thing, And I do, and when I started off, I thought, I'm going to have to be able to do everything, because I didn't want to be an actor / waiter. Right. I wanted to be an actor. And at my age, I couldn't. I didn't have time for anything else. I had to hit the ground running. And so I wanted to be an actor, so I figured I had to do everything. So I did a musical called Guys and Dolls. Yeah, I did Guys and Dolls, and I played Big Julie, and then I got to Chicago. I had the opportunity to work with a fine actress by the name of Ife Butler. She was the queen of. You don't know Ife? I know Ife. So yeah, she's a fine actress, great singer. So I was in Chicago, and my agent said, "Hey, listen, there's a musical, they're going to do Hello Dolly, And I said, okay, so I went and auditioned. So the casting, they said, yeah, he failed like him, yeah. Because she told him she didn't want a white, what was the character's name? Anyhow, whatever his name is. And she didn't want white, and she didn't want gay. So, I was the best choice. I'm not white or gay, and I don't have anything against gay. My manager and my agent are gays, and they make me a lot of money, so I don't have anything against gay people. So, but at any rate, she said, so I did that with Ife, and it turned out it was a great show, but I was prepared to do that because of my singing background. and I knew I could act. Vanderbilt. Howard, what's his name? Vanderbilt. Yeah, something like that. But, yeah.
Yeah,
I have a good friend, Kiana Smith. We call her Q. She works on Broadway. She does a lot of musicals. She's from Omaha.
I want to make this like the last question because I want to release the crew and the actors so that you all can get a couple of minutes rest before you have to go to rehearsal, back to rehearsal. But go ahead,
It's
Lauren.
just a simple question. When you brought up your manager and your agent, I wanted to know what that relationship was like and how did you go about finding them? Have you switched managers, agents since you started off? And
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I started off with an agency in Chicago. Well, when I was working out of Chicago in Minneapolis, I'm multi-listed. And I would recommend that to you when you're working in the smaller markets, multi-list, because somebody might get, a job that the other ones won't, so I multi-list.
you know what he means by that?
Being with different agencies at the same time.
But not
Yes.
exclusive.
Yeah, don't go exclusivity with anybody, because the agents will want you to do that, but what can they do for you? They can't do anything unless the breakdown comes through. And so I was working with an agency called Getty's in Chicago, and her sister had an agency in LA. So when after I landed the Apostle, which they didn't call me for, I got called by another agent that I used up there and did a lot of commercials and stuff. He said, John, they're desperate when they call me. He said, they've been looking all over for this guy. He said, they've been through New York twice. This is the second time to Chicago. He said, I think you can do this. So he sent it to me, and I said, they're looking for me. And he laughed. I said, no. I said, nobody can do this for me, because I didn't know of any actor that was doing what I was doing at the time, and that's real people. Morgan, any of them, weren't doing real people. And if you know what I'm saying, they weren't doing real people, and I knew Duvall was looking for real people, because I'd seen him in a film, a small film, black and white. I forget the name of it. Horton Foote wrote it. It was a great film. He was this hillbilly, and he took in this woman who was pregnant and had a child and everything, and so it was a great film, and so I figured he was looking for something like that. And so my son and I sat down and we put it on tape, sent it out to LA, and Bobby said, that's the guy. And so he said he was going to come to Omaha or either fly me down to Louisiana, and so we could meet and see if we got along together. And I knew we were going to get along together because I just loved him. I saw him in Family Matter, or Family Affair with James Earl Jones, and there's one scene in there where he's talking to his father, and it just drew me in. I said, I just want to work with this guy. And 3 weeks later, I got the call. But long story short, this agency that I was with didn't get me that. But then now they were starting to to capitalize on it. And so, and we had already decided that I had outgrown Chicago, so I went out to LA and I was working with a sister out there. But they were nervous because I didn't live in LA. And I said, well, listen, you give me an audition, I'll fly out. I'll come out. Okay, all right. And so then they started to piss me off. So I asked a casting agent out there that had hired me for another film. I said, recommend somebody. So I went with another agency, and writers and artists, and eventually things started to change in LA after 9/11, and I decided that it was time for me to move on. And they wanted to work with artists. They wanted to work with artists that were making at least $150,000 a year, And I was working regularly, but I wasn't making that kind of money just then,